Students, how are you all? I hope you all are keeping good health. Today, in this video, we'll talk about the chapter Gender, Religion, and Caste. It's often said that in politics, nothing happened by accident. To garner votes, politicians use every arrow in their quiver. Some bases on which they deploy vote, bank tactics, are gender, religion, and even caste. Let us see how all these factors play a big part in politics. For the mind map of this chapter, you will see that this chapter moves around gender, religion, and caste basically, and their link with the politics and other important aspects which we'll consider while reading and going through this chapter. Taking the overview of this chapter, students in this chapter will apply the different ideas of social differences that are going on in democratic system of this country, right? When we talk about a democratic system or a democratic country, we feel assured that there will be no differences, there will be no inequalities, but we'll come to know that in a democratic system also there are various inequalities going on through. For example, basically the main thing in this chapter will talk about the differences between men and women, the differences in their applicability. This is which will be based on the religion and caste, and we'll talk about more. First, we'll talk about the topic gender and its linkage with the politics. Students, there is never any doubt that men and women are different on the basis of biology. And this differentiation also carries through to our society as various stereotypes. But one field which is often ignored when it comes to gender bias is that of politics. In the current political scenario of the world, and especially of India, women are very poorly represented. Talking about the glossary which is being given on the page 40, sexual division of labor, a system in which all work inside the home is either done by the woman of the family or organized by them through the domestic helper. Here they are talking that the division of labor means the division of work is done on the basis of sexual basis, right? Sexual basis means men and women. They are saying that all the work which is done inside the home is either done by the woman herself or by the other workers, but they are controlled by her. Means in the work which is done inside the house, the major role played is by the women only. And here there is being categorized between men and women, that the men are meant to be working outside the house and women are meant to be doing work always inside the house. The widespread notion that women will be the member who will do all the housework and take care of the children, and the men will be doing the outside work. As we have students gone through the chapter of Hitler in ninth class also, when he was making his own country, like when he was ruling and going through his dictatorship tenure, he also said that the women will only bear the children and do household work, and men will be doing other work which comes in the outside the home. Since the birth of the children, they have been taught that boys are stronger than the girls, and boys are to take control of their family and they'll take care of the family in future and they'll do all the hard works, and the girls will only be indulged in the household works. They are not allowed to learn more, they are not allowed to go for higher studies. This difference comes from the roots of the families, where the families teach their children that there is a difference between boy and girl always. In earlier societies, only the men were allowed to participate in public affairs, they were only given the right to vote. But now the scenario is changing, and women in different parts of the world are organizing and agitating for their equal rights. Many feminist movements are also taking part in different world, right? What is the feminist movement here? Means the movement which are fighting for the rights of the women. And the term feminist also means that a woman or a man who believes in equal rights and opportunities for women and men. And the movements tagged as feminist are also targeting for the rights of women only. Scenario is also changing. Now we can find women working as scientists, doctors, engineers, lawyers, manager, and college. And most of the educated part of the world is taken by the girls only. Most of the white collar jobs are taken by the girls only, right? And we can also say that the highest judge of the Supreme Court was also being shared by the women's also. So women are not lacking behind in any point. Coming on to page 42, here they are saying that there are some countries which have given very much high rights to the women, that are Norway, Finland, and Sweden, and public life of women is very high as compared to the other countries. Student, Indian society is a patriarchal society. Talking about the term patriarchy on page 42, it means that the rule by father. This concept is used to refer to a system that values men more and gives them power over women. Patriarchy society is that where there is dominance of the male society. All the laws are made in the preference of male. Mainly the problems are faced by their counterpart, means the woman. Now, talking about the disadvantages, discrimination, and oppression faced by women in various ways, like the literacy rate, students, the education level of women, it's only 54% as compared with 76% among men, means it's comparatively less. I think the value of the jobs given to women is comparatively less, means both men and women are doing the same work, but they are paid very less as compared to the men of the society. There is a notion in our constitution that equal pay for equal work. When it was not considered, a new act was also passed by the government in 1976 by the name of Equal Remuneration Act, which says that both men and women will be paid equal for their equal work. And almost in all areas of work, from sports and cinemas to factories and fields, women are paid less than men, even when both do exactly the same work. This notion was to be broken by the government so that women could be brought on the same platform as the men are having. Of our society giving preference to have sons and abortion of girl child, as they think that only their family can be run by a male child only, and girl child can have no say in the society, and they'll not have any proprietorial rights, as the rights are to be with men or the boy child only. Coming on page 44, students, talking about the main thing, that is women's political representation. This scenario before independence was not good. This condition started improving after the independence. They were having political representation, but it was less than 10% in Lok Sabha, and it was less than 5% in the state. Even today, compared to other developing countries of the world, India's gender gap in politics is one of the worst in the world. Talking about the solution or the steps which could have been taken to the remedy to the situation are that in a lower level of government, that is the panchayats and the municipalities, there is a reservation of 1/3 seats of women. This ensures that women have their representative and a chance of their voices being heard. But the same needs to be done at the state and central level. A bill proposing this has been pending for almost a decade. For example, in panchayat election, there is always a roster, means after every two elections the woman seat is reserved, that only a woman candidate can contest the election. If this can be done in the higher elections like in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, then the scenario would be totally changed, and then we can say that women are sharing the platform equally with the men. Students, now we'll talk about the questions which were left. Coming on to the page 41, there's a picture which is talking about the perceptions of ideal women, and you have to choose which would be your perception regarding an ideal woman. Here I am telling about my perception. So what I am talking is, it's a good to see that women are showing their talent in every walk of life. It's not right to agree with anyone's perception of women, means everyone is having the different perception, a different thought regarding the women platform sharing shown through the figures along. In my view, an ideal woman is that who has the quality of managing both housework and work outside the house. Of course, this needs equal cooperation of men. It's true that in today's scenario, women are working outside also, and they're taking care of their household works also, and they are doing both the works perfectly. Every student must be having different thought about the perception of an ideal woman, so you can write it about it. Coming on page 42, there is a table where they have discussed the working hours of men and women, and if they have compared also. And you have, this is your homework, you will solve this as you have to conduct a survey in your own household and think that what are the real numbers which we are talking about men and women's daily time use. Coming on page 44, where is a graph in which they are talking about women in national parliaments in different regions of the world. And the question here they have asked, could you think of some reasons why women's representation is so low in India? And do you think Americas and Europe have achieved a satisfactory level of women representation? The women's literacy rate is very low, as we have already talked, that they are not allowed to go for higher studies. And if some are educated, they are not politically motivated. And male members think that politics is not the profession of women, means it's only the work of men. And political parties also not giving tickets to women candidates to fight election in proportion to their population. This is the scenario why our representation of women is not so much high. And other thing is, no, neither Americas nor Europe have achieved a satisfactory level of women's representation, because in America there are only 20.2% and in Europe only 19.6% women in the national parliament. This percentage are not proportional to their population in their respective country. So when this will be proportionate to their population, then only we can say that there is an equal representation, or the representation number is good. Coming on page 45, there is a cartoon, or the person who is asking a question: if casteism and communalism are bad, what makes feminism a good thing? Why don't we oppose all those who divide the society on any lines, caste, religion, or gender? Feminism is not a bad thing. It believes in equal rights and opportunities for men and women. Social divisions like communism, casteism usually divide the society and enhances inequality, while feminism talks about equality. And enhancing woman power will make our society more strong. It was all about the linkage of gender with politics, and in next video we'll talk about the religion and politics and caste and politics.